This is a brand in UK called Lush. It looks more like a patisserie or maybe even a confectionery shop. It's actually cosmetics. Whereas we see this is a drinks brand from Brazil. That's even closer to resemble like hair conditioners or styling products. So there is a really gray zone is what are you supposed to eat or what are you supposed to put on your skin. The most popular drinks in beauty we see in the Asian markets. Here's an example of Vitro from Japan. It's one of the highest selling brands. That brand has a formulation that is very close to composition of the skin. It contains a high amount of collagen, hyaluronic acid and elastin. Collagen and elastin, I'll come back to that in a bit later, but are the main components of the human skin. Whereas we see a similar but a more diverse choice from Thailand, where we also have collagens, but we have different solutions depending on what you feel like that day. So collagen, fiber, chlorophyll, coenzyme Q10, glutathione, which is a strong antioxidant, as well as berry polyphenols. All the ingredients you will recognize also from the topical cosmetic applications. Here's a good example of a high-selling, very mainstream juice drink from Malaysia. It's selling at 25 million liters per year. And it is really just a juice drink, but it's really addressing the beauty from within concept to the consumers. It's suggesting indulgence, and as we saw the cosmetic brands before Lush, like velvety, using really attractive words that would address female consumers. And it's talking about hydration, it's talking about anti-aging by rejuvenated, and a skin tone about tickling pink. Here's an example from one of the multinationals. It's definitely the same ingredient. We're talking pomegranate extract here. And this is Nestle. If you're not aware, Nestle has shares in L'Oreal. And we see in the upper corner Body Shop. Body Shop is part of L'Oreal. We have Glovel to the left, which is a drink created by Nestle. And then we have a supplement in the middle, which is from Innov. Innov is a joint venture between Nestle and L'Oreal. So you see the multinational Nestle, they are simply bidding on all application areas. And actually the same active ingredient you will find is only the cream on the upper right corner that is for topical use. The other two are for oral use. We have smaller brands that are trying to identify this segment. For instance, here's an example from Portugal, selling 1.3 million liters in Portugal. It's quite a simple bottled water spiked with some fibers in order to fill the stomach and reduce the appetite. But it's talking about issues like detox and slimming, which is part of the beauty regimen. A high-selling brand, of course, is Vitamin Water, which also have their beauty solution. Vitamin Water is, for instance, in USA selling around 230 million liters a year. We don't have precise number of the Zero Glow, but Zero Glow is the beauty solution within the Vitamin Water range. And it's the typical solution of the ACE, which ACE is sort of the three main ingredients always recommended for beauty from within. And it states that it helps support and maintain healthy skin, hair and nail. So a very mainstream and traditional drink. Also we see product formats are moving from typically used to be powdered drinks and going more mainstream. We realize when drinks are going to RTD formats, they go more mainstream because obviously there's a whole shelf life issue and distribution issue. And we also see that the drinks are moving into a different packaging and color regimen. Usually the first beauty drinks we saw in the European and US market was definitely designed to attract women. They were all lipstick red in different colors, but now we see that they were really addressing all color regimens. So the female consumers may not always like pink. So here is options of other beauty solutions that are different colors. So the ready-to-drink market is on its way. This is an example of a Japanese solution that is even more refined. It addresses a whole regimen of beauty treatment that goes from starting with a detox solution and then to move towards a rejuvenation and reviving solution. So you actually, you start with the berry drinks, and when you have been through that detoxification program, you go to the collagen and rejuvenation program, where you improve your skin features. So, this is a movie some of you may know. What does women want? Because obviously this is a segment specifically addressing women, and there are clearly also some opportunities on the longer term, perhaps, that men would also be attracted to this segment. Actually, research show that 30% of men actually use their partner's cosmetics regularly. It's probably skin and hair products. So maybe it's not just what women want, but right now we are trying to address what women want in terms of choosing ingredients here. But there are actually ingredients that have potential benefits for hair loss, so maybe this segment could be extended at some stage. If we look at the ingredients, it's definitely what the female consumers are expecting from drinks like this are natural actives instead of chemical additives. It's sweet from fruits, honey, and plants like the stevias and the monk fruits, not artificial sweetness. That's a whole trend of the sweetener in general, that consumers are moving away from sweetness and just less sugar and natural sweetness. Hydration, but in an elegant way, instead of consuming large volumes of water. Detox through active ingredients. Collagen enhancers, and the risk of allergens should be very, very low, because allergens is something that females are very aware of in relation to the cosmetics industry. And there's just a recent research that came out from the scientific research panel that the majority of the fragrances in the cosmetics industry are the main cause of allergies in the Western population. Of course, gives a huge turmoil in the fragrance industry what to do about that report, and the authorities are discussing in the cosmetics societies how to implement the findings of this report. Certainly the allergens is a no-go, whereas the elastin and keratin build is of course of interest. Slimming, but not slimming that provides hunger. So slimming is a want, but hunger is not attractive to the female consumers. Now let me just talk a bit about the more science part. The skin is built of 3 layers, and the outer layer, what we call for the topical application, is what we call the epidermis. The layer below is called the dermis, and actually the dermis contains most of the targets where we want to target with nutrition in terms of vitamin D, immunity factors, building collagen and elastin that would reduce wrinkles and provide a healthier skin, as well as the lowest layer, the subcutis, actually providing water and energy, and is a reservoir of lipids to nourish the skin. So in order to provide solutions for skin health from the inside, it makes quite a lot of sense for the consumer if they understand this picture. In terms of skin health, there are 2 main issues. There are skin aging, and there is the damage by UV radiation to consider. First, we have here some slides showing the difference between young and old skin. Obviously, many of the target consumers for beauty drinks are women in the middle age, and you would see that aging reduces the thickness of the skin. And you would also see that pigmentation due to years of radiation is part of the aging principle. But mainly what you see is a reduction of the nourished layer, which is the subcutaneous fat layer of the skin, is significantly reduced when skin is aging. And some studies has actually shown that lipids as part of the diet is actually reducing the risk of aging, skin aging. Quite a different way of aging skin is by UV radiation. UV radiation is creating free radicals, and the free radicals would mix up with the collagen production. So collagen, which is the main part of the human skin, is getting distorted and destructed, and collagen needs to be regenerated. So the more radiation, the more imperfect repair of damage if there are no means to help the repair of skin damage. And some of the main factors for that is various nutrients. So just to recap, photoaging and chronological aging are two different things. Photoaging is changing pigmentation, giving deep wrinkles, changing the epidermal thickness, disorganize collagen, and disrupt the protein-water relation, and also the elasticity of the skin is disrupted, as well as this circulatory supply. Whereas chronological aging is creating more fine wrinkles, and as we saw before, the skin thickness is reduced, and the thickness of the external layer is actually thinner skin layers. So this is what women actually do know, that beauty comes from nutrients, water, and sleep. Basically, that is the best remedy. And interesting enough, there is actually an approved health claim here in EU on some of the sleep supporting ingredients, namely melatonin. You are allowed to claim on melatonin that it can be taken as part of regulating your sleep patterns. So 1 milligram of melatonin is allowed according to the new EU health claim legislation. Let us take a look at the ingredients. That's what we're here for. This is just an overview of some of the ingredient solutions. There are many solutions out there. There are ingredients that provide skin rejuvenation and protections, detox and slimming, anti-aging by fighting free radicals, and also supporting our wellness and immunity. Unfortunately, this is what we are allowed to claim on pack according to ingredients. It's all the vitamins and minerals that today are allowed to carry a EU health claim related to skin health. Obviously, that is not giving us much room for differentiation on pack. However, there are lots of research model going on, and I'll just go to share a few research issues with you. For instance, here is a study done in 2009 where there has been a comparison of various herbs that actually actively inhibit the enzymes degrading the collagen and elastin. These enzymes are called collagenase and elastinase. And you see here there are some active biochemical studies showing inhibition of these enzymes that degrade that could be interesting for leveraging in future. Other models in terms of in vitro studies, skin cell cultures, where you can culture skin and you can exercise different treatments to skin. This is another ingredient, a wheat oil pyramid, where you actually challenge the skin by dehydrating, by using acetone, and then you're providing this nutrient to see how the skin is regenerating. This is another in vitro model, but giving you indication of how beauty ingredients may be leveraged to and validated to future use as oral nutrition. This is actually a human intervention study. I thought it was interesting. It is a company called Roxlaw. They agreed that I could show these, where they have a soluble keratin extract that can be provided to beverages. And they had dermatological studies where you actually do measure with specific tools. You can measure the skin wrinkle death according to intervention with different ingredients. This showed that the wrinkle death after 2 months of supplementing with the particular ingredients was reduced. So there are models from in vitro, biochemical models from enzyme inhibitions to in vitro skin culture studies to actually human intervention studies going on. So this is the sad picture of the health claims that have been rejected over the last couple of years in relation to ingredients. From many natural ingredients that would look attractive to put into formulations and unpack, but there is a lot of substantiation going on for the moment, so it's quite possible that we see these ingredients would come into the marketplace again with proprietary health claim and substantiation, because the research is going on and it's quite attractive to move into this new consumer segment. Looking at the actual consumptions of health-related beauty drinks, we also trace consumption in relation to ingredient types and the actual volume consumption of these ingredients. And we see some of the high scores if we look at the European marketplace are, as mentioned before, also acerolas as a source of vitamin C is quite popular in these types of drinks. Rooibos, the African tea, which contains some bioactives that are known to be free radical scavengers. And we see sea buckthorn, which has a traditional use in some of the Nordic countries as well as the Baltic area as a source of lipids like gamma-linolenic acids, has also seen some traction here in growth. Interesting, if we go to Latin America, where beauty drinks are also quite popular, we see totally different ingredients turning up. Whereas hibiscus, which is more traditional from the Asian market and the Asian traditions, hibiscus as a free radical scavenger and a detox ingredient as well as improving circulation is the main indications for it, is quite popular in Latin American markets. And funny, if we go to Asia then, we would see all the ingredients of interest, namely we will see something that we are more used to see from the Latin American and Middle American countries, namely the aloe vera is becoming quite a growth ingredient in the Asian markets, as well as guava. Guava, to you who are not quite familiar with guava, is containing both a high amount of carotenoids and also vitamin C, so again a source of vitamin C. And also we see apricot, which is typically a Middle Eastern health remedy, containing carotenoids, and also the apricot kernel is quite a well-established beauty remedy, oils from the apricot kernel. So basically we see different trends in beauty drinks in different markets. Looking across the globe, we have just picked what are the most popular fruits and berries that are consumed that have relations to health and beauty. These numbers are from a market trend database that would provide you with information about the actual consumption in the beverage industry of specific ingredients. And this is in the still drinks, fruit concentrates and extracts volumes. And we will see that raspberry is still the most popular in this category of drinks. But also surprisingly, we will find mango fruit, elderberry, and guava presenting quite high consumption volumes. So to conclude my presentation here, I think we found some interesting findings in our research here that we actually see. It's like, I don't know if it's which wind it's moving with, but the trend seems to move across the globe from one continent to another, that Asian beauty remedies are moving to Europe, whereas some of the European beauty remedies are moving to the Latin America. European, Middle Eastern beauty remedies are moving to Latin America. And we see some of the beauty remedies that we know from Middle America to South America actually coming to Asia. We see that it's mainly the chemical side that has approved health claim today. Very few natural ingredients have the leverage of carrying an on-pack health claim in the European market space. But there may be options in terms of some of the berry and berry extracts that have high natural content of vitamin C, as we saw before. The health claim related to vitamin C and skin health is approved. And we also have approved health claim of zinc and copper, and there are nutrients that are naturally rich there, so that could also be a conclusion that we could try to bridge between natural and the chemical claims that are allowed today. Clearly, if you look at all the drinks across the industry, it is the fruit and berry and herbs that drives this market. So this is what is perceived as beauty bringing, as well as perceived as healthy. And we have a diverse option there, but as I also said, you saw these was also part of the topical application and has very much moved into the topical application area. Traditional remedies as apricot kernel and aloe is driving the market because the consumers are familiar with the beauty traditions around some of these ingredients. So it's also a lot about perception and not always about health claims that are allowed, but what women perceive as healthy for their skin. And clearly I just wanted to conclude now that the consumption of beauty-promoting ingredients is increasing, and this is a market that is up for high growth. Thank you.